And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the StarCraft Evolution League number 13, your bi-weekly dose of StarCraft Evolution StarCraft. I'm of course VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the human chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to some more StarCraft Evolution. Again, if you've been here the entire day, happy, get some rest because this is our second broadcast of the day and our third event, I suppose, as we were live earlier this morning. We were live 10 hours ago. We were live 10 hours ago with Kung Fu Cup, which also featured StarCraft Evolution, which also featured ByuN, Dark, and many other players as well, all duking it out in StarCraft Evolution. Then we did cover the SCL, the StarCraft Evolution League Masters number 3, which was a best of 7 show match between Shin and 3 Point. And now we're here tonight with SCL proper number 13. Oh boy, so the StarCraft Evolution continues all day today. Here we go. For those that are maybe tuning in for the first time, maybe wondering, why is he putting so much emphasis on the tournament name? Well, because the game mode is a part of the name. SC Evo, StarCraft Evolution, is the game mode that they are playing in. It is a mod in StarCraft. It is not regular SE2. This is a mod that does bring together Brood War and StarCraft 2. It does pit them against each other in a 1v1 format. This is not a direct copy of Brood War. I should emphasize that. I think a lot of people do tune in and they do expect it to just be like a carbon copy, and they probably expect there to be like some balance disparities as a result. This originally was, they ported it over, then they did balance and adjust it to make sure that it is competitive with StarCraft 2. When it comes to the StarCraft 2 side of things, they leave it alone. They leave it as to whatever the base game is, and they do balance and adjust and make changes to the Brood War side of things to be, again, as balanced as possible. There have been instances already in the meta that do favor certain things or disfavor certain things. I think in most recent times, of course, in Terran matchups from the Brood War side of Terran, it was very popular and it was very meta and very powerful to go 3x stim. If you've been watching SC Evo over the past like 4 months, you would know that it was plaguing the meta going 3x stim. It was brutal, and it was nerfed like 3 different times. And it just kept going strong. But it has things like that have been adjusted. For another example of that is mech. Brood War mech in the past, Goliaths were really powerful, to the point where you could even go mass Goliath. Goliaths are obviously like almost like a Thor, like a Brood War Thor, really good anti-air units, but their anti-ground attack was powerful as well, and they had to basically adjust and nerf the anti-ground to make it a little bit more specialized, a little bit less well-rounded, and a little bit less powerful. So changes like that were made. On the flip side of things, there were improvements made to certain races, or to certain aspects of certain races, specifically the scouts. If you're familiar with the Brood War Protoss, then you would know the scout, for example, is an anti-air specialist, but its anti-ground attack tickles units. I think it does even less damage than the Sentry. I could be mistaken there, but again, in SC2, Sentry is known for tickling units. In Brood War, it was the Scout, and that was changed to allow and to improve the Scout anti-ground to make Stargate openers more viable in a lot of matchups, where previously it really wasn't, just because the Scout was not really as strong of a defensive tool as a Void Ray is in the SC2 counterpart, for example. So there have been changes made here and there. I think another most recent change is Zerg. Brood War Zerg was considered by most, if not all, to be inferior than SC2 Zerg, so a lot of the base units were improved. I think this was like maybe 2 months ago at this point. The Zergling and the Hydra, they specifically, I want to say the attack speed of the Zergling was increased. The base attack speed, and I believe it's still the same if you finish researching Adrenal when it comes to Hive Tech. I think that's the same, but like before that, I think the attack speed was increased, and same with the Hydra. The Hydra was also buffed as well, just to try to keep it up with things in SC2. So again, like there are a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments. On top of that, my favorite part are the maps. A lot of maps get ported over from Brood War into StarCraft Evolution with their own changes as well. So again, there's a lot of work that gets put into this mod, a lot of work going on behind the scenes. And before we jump into our tournaments, a big shout out to those working on the mod, and if you want to help support it, !SC Evo. There we go. exclamation mark SC Evo in the chat, and you'll get a link to the Patreon of the StarCraft Evolution team, Team Kaprulu. And if you want to help support them, if you want to help them out in their passion project, then you can do so there. They put in a lot of work when it comes to porting mods, when it comes to balancing the game, when it comes to creating new graphical assets. Again, a lot of custom graphical assets for the Marine, for the Zergling, for the Hydra, for almost all the units. Not every unit, but almost all the units have their own custom skins, basically, just to make them distinctly different to the SC2 side of things. So again, they put in a lot of work. I think most recently they did create the assimilator for Zerg, so there's now a new Zerg assimilator, which is very veiny. It's very veiny, very detailed. What was the other most recent change that they, or recent building that they added? I know that they made their own defiler mound. True. I felt a little bit bad because we kept making fun. Because fun fact: so at the start of the year, if you were watching, the defiler mound was actually a roach warren. They just repurposed the roach warren as a defiler mound, and we would always poke fun at that. To the point where they were like, you know what? These ducklings, they keep poking fun of it. You know, we'll make our own. And they did. they made their own defiler mound. So much love to the team. But as we settle into this, a big shout out to Captain Fish Gap. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid earlier at the start of the broadcast. Hope you had a great time streaming and laddering and getting ready for our amateur tournaments throughout the course of the month. And likewise, thank you so much, Captain Fish, for the Twitch Prime as well. Thank you so much. As we are going to be jumping into our tournament, as we now have gone through kind of like the preamble, switch our scenes over. Let's catch up with the bracket itself. Now, when it comes to this event, this is a replay cast. We are not covering, or we just haven't been able to cover many of these SC Evo events live, just because we've been so busy with EWC and with DreamHack Dallas and with GSL. Like, we've been casting everything else. We've been so busy. I think we spoke about this earlier. Currently, we cast twice a day, every single day, and even then, we're overbooked. Like, there's just still so much StarCraft going on, and we can't cast everything, unfortunately. So here we're catching up. You know, we have our catch-up stream. This morning we caught up with Kung Fu Cup. This evening we're catching up with StarCraft Evolution. For those that are curious, these events did occur over the weekend, so not even that long ago. A couple of days ago on Saturday, I believe it was actually clashing with MSO, with our Masters 1 Open, which was leading into Firegrow Cup. So we were casting MSO into Firegrow Cup while we were doing those two events. This event was also going on. So that was a couple of days ago, and we have our quarterfinals ready for us. So here we go. We have from the top, ByuN versus ReBellioN could be facing off. Again, we already casted ByuN, Dark, 3-Point, Shin, all these guys earlier this morning in Kung Fu Cup and in the show match, and now a lot of them are here once again. So ByuN versus ReBellioN facing off in the TvP. We have a 3-Point versus Bratok, also in a TVZ as well. Scrolling down, we have Shin versus the STC. I'm very excited as always to cover some STC action. The STC is usually casting, and even organizing some events, but here he is going to be playing instead, stepping into that player role. He's a strong player in his own right. And then we have ByuN versus Middle VK at the bottom of the bracket. The plan here today is we're going to be covering every single quarterfinals match, and then we'll be taking a break. Then we'll be jumping into the semifinals as well. There has been a bit of a change as of late. The semifinals are now best of 5s. In the past, it used to be best of 3, and then best of 5 finals, but now the semis are best of 5s, and the finals were also best of 5s as well. So now we have more matches, more games, more StarCraft. Let's go, baby, let's go. Whew. Just catching up. So I'll jump again. Split screen casting. Oh no. One day. All the casting. But yes, we're going to be jumping into our first series. Up first is going to be ByuN versus ReBellioN. Of course, ByuN at the moment I would say is dubbed as the best Terran player in all of StarCraft Evolution. I would say ByuN's number 1, Spirit being number 2. Then number 3 is maybe a toss-up between, you know, Honmono, Quanta, Kiwian as well. Bratok, Milky Cow, they're also up there. But he is the number 1 seed of the tournament, and here he is spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pylon. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing StarCraft ReBellioN. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Brood War Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing among SC2 people. It is ReBellioN. Here we go. So we are going to be jumping in. and calming things down. From our initial openers here, again, welcome to ByuN. ByuN is one of the smaller maps in the map pool, known for more aggressive builds, and we have seen a lot of aggression from ByuN. I mentioned earlier that ByuN, has been very fond of these 3-rack stim timings, especially in the Brood War Terran side of things, but here as SC2 Terran, he likewise also has been enjoying a lot of 3-racks openers in this matchup as well, so we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see how he does open up. For the time being, double gas opener, faster factory, delayed CC, already a more aggressive start. This can lead into reactive ReBellioN, this can lead into early cyclones, early tanks, Banshee play as well. There are going to be options for ByuN. Meanwhile, ReBellioN does scout, does confirm. Back at home, when it comes to the meta of PvT in StarCraft Evolution, when it comes to what we expect to be seeing as well, it has been very... Oh, never mind, we're proxying. I was gonna say, it's very common to open up Disruptor Drop or to open up Zealot Legs and charge into Storm. That has also been very trendy, but ReBellioN, he goes for a 3-gate setup here. Cybercore is now on the way, but the proxy 2 gates are ready, and this is designed to try to punish a low ground CC. As we can see, though, we're going for a faster factory. Oh! As the probe is gonna go down. Brutal pickoff here. The probe does fall. Factory is gonna be on the way, and the CC is delayed. This also means faster Hellion, faster Cyclone, just faster production in general. This is going to be a safer start here from ByuN. We'll see what ReBellioN can accomplish here as he is waiting for Dragoon production, waiting for that Cybercore to complete. Cybercore is done. Dragoons are on the way. Now again, Dragoons, they are sturdier than the Stalker counterpart, but they're also less versatile or less active, less mobile. That's it. They're less mobile. As Reaper does run into the Zealot. This will delay the Scout, actually. ByuN, he's kiting well here, that is true, but he is avoiding the Scout. He doesn't know that there's no expansion, he doesn't know that he's being all-in. It's a one-base all-in here from ReBellioN. And ByuN is, again, otherwise distracted. Oh, the missed shots. I don't know if you noticed. But there is a percentage chance to miss whenever an attack happens. As you can see here, 25. Let's go. Basically, half the shots are missing as we attempt to focus on the Zealot. Eventually, it's going to go down. But for those that are curious here, there is a different mechanic in StarCraft Evolution. Basically, whenever you want to attack a unit that is in the tall grass, even if you're in the tall grass itself, even if you have vision, it doesn't matter. There is a percentage chance to miss and do 0 damage. Same here when it comes to pushing up a ramp as well. So high ground and ramps are even more important. Meanwhile, the first Depot does go down. Dragoons, they work their way in. Yeah, boys are being pulled. Cyclone's on the way. Just needs a little bit more time. CC's delayed. Command Center is delayed. Cyclone does pop. And with that, we should be able to bully this back. Yeah, it does bully back. Dragoon goes down. Nicely done. He does maintain control of the high ground. You can see there are a couple of shots aren't connecting. You can see there that the shots are missing. And the Cyclone holds. Cyclone does defend. But again, it means that the high ground advantage is even more crucial, even more impactful here in StarCraft Evolution. Just because you can send off a volley and you can do 0 damage. As I saw a couple of times there, where the Cyclone just wasn't taking any damage from a couple of those shots. With that, the CC is almost done. Tanks are on the way. And ByuN should be secure here on one base. At the same time, across the map, ReBellioN now expands. But this is a late expansion from ReBellioN. He committed quite hard to this. And honestly, what did he get done? 4 SCVs. He killed 4 SCVs, he killed 1 Depot, killed 1 Marine. So far, this hasn't really been worth the investment. But if we can contain ByuN a little bit longer and get fully saturated, then it's going to be okay. Like ReBellioN, as long as he's able to take an economic advantage here, then he should be okay. But so far, that still hasn't happened. Behind this, going into a Reaver drop, a proxy Reaver drop. This is brutal in the sense that if we lose control of this position, we lose everything. Like, did we need to proxy the bay? Like, did we? did we? Oh no! As it all gets spotted, it all gets spotted, it all gets scouted. Now, ByuN is aware, and he's fully aware of the Reaver drop that's coming in. Reaver drops on the way. Thankfully, we don't proxy the observatory, at least, I suppose. But again, like, if ByuN ever breaks out, if he breaks this position, there's just so much value here at this proxy. When we're trying to, like, macro out of this as well, I'm a little bit confused. I mean, I say that, we're not making probes. Oh, yeah, we're not making any work, because it's a fake expansion. Fake expansion was still in. Okay, there we go. There's a transfer. Reaver's on the way. We're about to drop in. Let's go. Let us go. So we're making our way towards the main. Tanks are setting up. ByuN, he will soon expand. He's got his 3 tanks here. There we go. CC's on the way. Viking behind this. So far, does delay. Likewise, Reaper goes down across the map. ReBellioN trying to bait out that perfect shot. Trying to bait out the Marines. Again, ByuN is aware. Takes down the observer. Nice snipe. Shot's gonna be going up. Where does he target? On the tank. Meanwhile, brutal lockout here on that shuttle. But last so far, no major losses from either side. Yeah, but ByuN, he breaks out. He does break out. Can now expand. Behind this, going for the Citadel, working towards Ella Legs. And even though ReBellioN did contain for quite some time, ByuN has an equivalent worker count. And he has mules, so ByuN's ahead. Economically, I should say. ByuN has a greater economy, but there is still a lot of potential with this Reaver. This Reaver can eviscerate a mineral line, can get a good connection on the Marines. Like, there's a lot of potential here to get damage done. Double forge, double upgrades on the way. I would feel a lot more comfortable if ByuN did spread out his Marines. Like, they're so clumped up. I mean, the tanks are keeping him safe. True. Like, they are keeping him safe. Bearing in mind that the Reaver, there is a delay when it comes with shots. I'm referring to when you drop the Reaver, it does take like maybe 2 seconds to send out the first shot. And in that time, it can be targeted down. I think it's like 1.5 or something. Yeah, as you can see. Basically, if you notice, when the Reaver gets dropped from the shuttle, there's like a little stun icon. There's like a little like swirl on top of its head. So you have to wait until that disappears, then it gets shot off. As you can see. Oh. Again, it's like 1.7 seconds, I want to say. Something like that. So the opposing player does have time to react. As behind this, we have the Temple Archives on the way for Storm. Third base being taken. ReBellion's macroing up behind this. ByuN is yet to break out. Oh, Cyclone does overextend. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there. Does run in. Will lose a Cyclone. Meanwhile, ByuN, he does break out with his double drop. Ooh, and ReBellioN, he is unaware. Back at home, what does he have? Back at home, he does have some reinforcements at the natural, at least. So far, Marines, they do fight back. So far, members' Ella legs are done. ReBellioN does hold his own. And we'll force this back. Actually responding with everything here. Oh, the entire army does return. This was an overreaction from ReBellioN, and this tells me that ByuN, he's now safe at home. He can now break out, now can take his third base. ByuN, he is relatively comfortable. Is looking comfortable here. See someone asking, how do they balance it? I mean, they've been balancing it and applying patches quite regularly over the past over a year at this point. I think it's important to bear that in mind. And this is what I was worried about. As the Robo and the Bayo depowered, and these are some pretty crucial pickoffs here. This means no more Reavers. No more Reaver production, no more Observer either. There is thankfully a second Robo back at home, but the Bay would have to be rebuilt. Ooh, as ReBellioN is supply blocked. So ByuN will clean all this up. Behind this again, we're just switching into High Templar, switching into Storm. But some people, I guess, might not be aware of this, but StarCraft Evolution, I believe, debuted almost 2 years ago. Like, it's been, it's only just recently, when I say recently, I guess last year, around July-ish is when tournaments started showcasing it, but has been in development for a long time. And again, a lot of time and effort has been put into patching, balancing. getting it ready for competitive play. Let's drop into the main. Does take down the Forge. Plus 2 is going to be denied. Nice pickup. Takes down the Forge, going for the Citadel. Storm going to be coming in. Storm is not ready. Oh, the High Templar doesn't extend. The High Templar goes down. Brutal pickup. Yeah, with that ByuN, he will get away. And again, a very valuable drop here. He gets so much value out of it. Denies plus 2, takes out a High Templar, pulls away. Behind this, establishes his third base. And here, ByuN does maintain a lead. I mentioned earlier that after the failed proxy, after the failed all-in, ReBellioN, even though he took a natural base, even though he's getting his third, he's still behind economically. Like, that's why ByuN now has a larger army, with that greater economy, turning into a larger army itself. It's building up. And he will soon break out. You know, this drop, he's not done. He still wants the third, or the fourth even. Does force a cancel. Denies the fourth base. Again, ReBellioN out of position. You know, we do have some DTs warping in. So Dark Templar. From here, I believe that is the Maelstrom upgrade, if not mistaken. So getting ready. I know there's 2 red. Yeah, there we go, Maelstrom. There we go. Maelstrom is on the way. For those that are curious, Maelstrom is an AoE stun. It's an AoE stun that only works on biological units. If you recall, who found that out recently? Was it ByuN? I think we casted Kung Fu Cup, or even a StarCraft Evolution League like last week, and yeah, it was on the island map where we had gone. Where I think, was it ReBellioN? My mistake. But we had a Protoss player going into Dark Archons, and their plan was to Maelstrom the Vikings. They went for the Maelstrom, it did nothing. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Like it does not work against mechanical units. And they get Spire. Just as a heads up, there's a lot of spells like that which kind of only work on biological or mechanical, or there's definitely some more niche spells, like Irradiate comes to mind, right? Which is also similar, which only affects biological units. But here we go. Both armies are max. ByuN moves out, so ReBellioN, he does miss the move out. No observers. Towards the left. Really does reposition. When it comes to the main armies, what do we have? We have 2 Dark Archons. Army slips in, gets off the EMP. EMP on the Dragoons. Maelstrom coming in. Doesn't quite land it, not yet. Ooh, Prism goes down, or Shell goes down. Denies the Reaver. No Reaver shots. So trying to come in. Does land the Storm. Does land the Maelstrom, not bad. Yeah, he does stun the army. And with that, ByuN is going to be chased back. Again, he did EMP all the Dragoons, but not the Spellcasters. As he's going to be chased back. Ooh, running into a line of tanks. Yeah, that is a lot of tanks. There is a Storm behind this, but we'll have to back off. Like, Dragoons are not built to break tank lines. Alright, guys, drop coming back in. Oh. Drop moves in. He's going to be forced back. And this army is just very Dragoon heavy, and I feel like it's hurting ReBellioN more than anything. When it comes to trying to break, my choke goes off. When it comes to trying to break these siege lines, that's where Zealots do come into play. Zealots, they're cheap, they're mobile, they do a great job at tanking tank shots, at closing that distance, at buffering for your army. Meanwhile, this army here that we have with Master Dragoon, it's just very expensive. Not the most mobile army either. But we are rotating. Rotating over towards the planetary. EMP doesn't quite connect with the Archon. Maelstrom mainly on Marines, not on the Ghosts. But here come the Storms. Oh, nice EMP! Yeah, much better EMP there from ByuN. Takes down both High Templar, 0 Storms. Meanwhile, the planetary did go down, but now the Dragoons are so exposed. And you can see them, they just go down one after the other. Expensive losses here for ReBellioN. And I'm hoping that he doesn't replace his losses with more Dragoons, I'll be honest. He does pull away. High Templar morphing in. The other downside with ReBellion's army composition, I don't know if you noticed, but he just has a very few amount of spellcasters. Earlier he had 2 Archons and 2 High Templar, and that's it. Like, he has just a very low amount of spellcasters, which means 1 EMP is sometimes all it takes. We saw there, it was just 1 EMP on 2 High Templar, and bam, there's no more storm, no more splash damage. So that is another concern here for what ReBellioN is working with. Dragoons moving forward, they're moving into the tank line. Tanks they will punish. Reaver moving in. Oh, ooh, nice connection. Does connect well. Oh my god, but Dragoons, yeah, they just melt here. Again, they cannot push into this line of tanks. Not like this. And we're making more Dragoons. Oh god. Get down goes another EMP. Marauders from behind. Oh, Dragoons, they do get a flank off though, and here comes some storms. Okay. Storm's going to be coming in. They connect with mainly the Liberator. Tanks are still holding their own. ByuN is being forced back. Once again, the Dragoon count. Oh my god. Gonna lose everything. The High Templar as well. High Templar, the Dragoons at the same time. This one Liberator getting 21 probe kills on that one Liberator. And ReBellioN, he's running out of steam. Again, at a time, there was a time here not too long ago where both armies were maxed, but one army was not quite like the other, right? The soup does lie. The quality of the army from ReBellioN was just worse. Again, it was just very Dragoon heavy, minimal splat or minimal spellcasters, minimal zealots. And now ByuN just has an overwhelming force. Now we have, I would say, a bit of a stronger High Templar count, but it's too little too late. The base goes down, ByuN dropping into the main. ReBellioN trying to keep up. Let's try to keep up. Liberation has arrived. Nice split against the storms. Yeah, very nice split here from ByuN. He spreads well. Does hold on to the high ground. Forcing a fight within liberation zones as well. And this army is going to be cleaned up, but ByuN, he can afford it. He can afford to lose this army. Back at home, this is what we have. We have more Marines, Marauders, Ghosts. Plus 2 ship weapons on the way for those Liberators. And ByuN is looking solid. Now, ReBellioN, he has been able to rebuild his worker counts, and he does have a decent worker count now. But he needs time to rebuild his army. He's up to 2 Archons, 2 High Templar. 3rd High Templar's on the way. ByuN still being active, ready for the EMPs. It looks like he's searching for the main army. Getting another base. Tanks are repositioning to defend that fresh base. Tanks are set. EMP's going off. Ooh, Prism goes down. And that's where the High Templar were, by the way. Oh no. High Templar, they crumble. And at this point, ByuN, it's time to stim, and it's time to win. Stims on 4 takes out almost every single Dragoon. The base falls, GG gets called, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN will take a lead in the series. Again, ReBellioN just had a really awkward start to the game. Winding it back, if you remember, ReBellioN, he opened up with a 3-gate opener. 1 at home, 2 proxied across the map. And honestly, it didn't feel quite worth it. He was able to contain ByuN. He killed 2 SCVs, did contain more base a little bit longer. But by the time ByuN broke out and took his natural, he was already keeping up worker-wise, and he had mules as well on top of that. Like, he still maintained greater economy. We saw that ReBellioN, he just wasn't able to make the opener worth it. If you remember, the follow-up was a proxy Robo and a proxy Bay into a proxy Reaver drop, and he got 1 shot off on the tank and only 1. Like, that was the only shot going off in the first half of the game. We still had the Reaver shot going off towards the end of the game as well, but like, again, that was a big investment, big commitment into a proxy Reaver drop that didn't really amount to anything either. Like, sure, he was containing ByuN, but ByuN was happy to stay on 2 bases that much longer, eventually take a 3rd, and just snowball from there. GG. GG, well played. So a very comfortable game, I would say, from ByuN. And with that, ByuN takes a lead, and now we are jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Let's go. Is ReBellioN a player or a bot? ReBellioN, he's a Korean Protoss player. He plays in the GSL qualifiers, for example. He's a very active player in the scene. If you are maybe not too familiar with StarCraft or with the Korean scene, that maybe you haven't seen ReBellioN before, it is possible. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Maganatha, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing StarCraft ReBellioN, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing among SC2 people. It is ReBellioN. Here we go. But as always, of course, remember to respect the players. They always, ReBellioN as well does drop by in the chat from time to time. A lot of them do. We're not there to, I mean, we can of course critique their play, of course, but you know, always remember to be respectful. As we are settling into Maganatha. Maganatha, a much larger map in the map pool. Much larger map, longer rush distance by ground. Winding it back, Pylon is known for being a lot smaller, for favoring aggression, and we saw that once ByuN started to move out, I mean, it could not be stopped. Here, I would say that there's a higher chance to try to get away with something more greedy, with something more tech heavy even as well. Bearing in mind that the format that we use here in this tournament is loser's pick. Loser does pick if they stick with Brood War or if they switch to SC2, and ReBellioN did choose to stick with Brood War, and we have seen ReBellioN rush into Skytoss before. That may be the plan here, to open up Standard to try to gain map control, and this time to tech up into what? Into a Stargate, into a Fleet Beacon, in towards carriers. We'll see. If we wanted to do that though, we've seen it before, this would be the map to do it on. Would be on Maganatha. For now though, double gas opener once again out of ByuN, going for a faster factory. This time no proxy, which I appreciate. This time there's no proxy, there's no hyper aggression out of ReBellioN. He's going for a more standard opener. The pylon location to me is interesting. It's further back, so it does feel like we want to try to hide some tech, but we'll see. We'll see if he does hide anything too crazy, if he doesn't. For now, everything's looking normal, and for now, ReBellioN is expanding. It's got to be on ByuN to figure out what's going on. Reaper moves out. There it is! That's the beginning. The big... Pappy. How do we know? So Stargate opener out of ReBellioN. He does hide the tech further back, and we'll see if ByuN can piece it all together. Now, if we can come into Maganatha, we can assume that something like a rush into Skytoss would be possible. ByuN can as well. Like, if we can assume it, so can ByuN. I'm not saying that this is a sure thing, and this doesn't have to be a rush into a Fleet Beacon. This could just be like a Stargate Scout opener, then into Charge, right? Into a Citadel, into Charge instead. Like, this doesn't have to be Skytoss, but it's still on ByuN to confirm what's happening. Behind this, going for a 1-1-1. Ooh, speaking of, +1 air attack is on the way. This screams Skytoss. I was saying earlier that just because it's a scout opener, we can still go into like Storm and into Charge, into a ground-based composition, but you would never rush into +1 air attack without the intention of committing into multiple Stargates into a Fleet Beacon. So this is confirmation. As +1 air attack is on the way. And again, like, this is probably the best map for this. There we go, second Stargate is thrown down. Now, when it comes to scouts, I did mention at the start of the broadcast how the scout was buffed a couple of months ago, just because, honestly, its anti-ground attack was very weak. I think it did less damage than a sentry. Like, it was pathetic just how much damage it would do. So it was increased to make it more viable as an opener, and now a scout does 3-shot SCVs. So you would need 3 scouts to 1-shot workers, or, you know, you'd need 2 scouts to 2-shot. As the scout does move out. Scout gets spotted. But alas, the Cyclone does move out across the map. Back at home, there's not much to defend. And so far, 1 SCV. Gets 1. Gets 2. Can we get 3? We can! 3 SCV kills, not bad. And back at home, we are building up more scouts. The Fleet Beacon is on the way. And ByuN does make his way towards the main. Scout is in position. Oh, despite that, the lock-on is brutal. Yeah, brutal lock-on in the Scout. It is going to go down. Oh my god, barely does survive. Whew, okay, that's very too soon. Yeah, it does fall. ByuN, he doesn't get behind the mineral line though. That's what's important. Right now, as we mentioned before, just because there's a Stargate opener doesn't mean it's going to be Sky Toss. It could still be Stargate into ground toss, right? Into a ground-based army. So ByuN still doesn't have confirmation. Nice snipe on the pylon. Scout does zone away. And with the fleet beacon finishing, we should be working towards carriers, I would imagine. Again, when it comes to Brutal Protoss, like, they don't have as many options when it comes to, oh, do I want to make a Tempest or do I want to make a carriers? Like, nah, it's just carriers, mate. Just carriers. For now, they're committing into more scouts. And there it is. The first carrier is soon to arrive. Bearing in mind that these carriers, they typically do need an upgrade. By default, Brutal carriers, they only have the capacity for 4 interceptors at a time. But with the upgrade, you can go up to 8. So you can build up to 8. With the upgrade, I should emphasize. As these scouts, because there's so many of them, he's forcing ByuN to stay back at home, right? ByuN, he's contained. He's contained on 2 bases, and there's more than enough to one-shot SCVs. Oops, scouts getting low, but they do all escape, and carriers are amassing. So ReBellioN, he's getting there. He's getting there. He's getting to that point. It does pull away. Does pull away. Claiming his third. Now, upon seeing that many scouts, even though ByuN hasn't confirmed the main, now he knows, right? Now he knows that it's Sky Toss. Like, you don't go mass scout like this unless you're going for a fleet beacon into carrier. So ByuN has confirmation. Behind this, ByuN going into some Widowmine support, coming into Bio, of course. Still just the 1 starport, so just making 2 Vikings, or can soon make 2 Vikings at a time. Yeah, does move out. Does move out, getting within range. He scans, he does spot the carriers. Intercept upgrade is done. Cannon's going to be going down. And how many carriers do we have so far? 3. 3 carriers. Oh! Scouts. Oh, trying to get within range of the tank. So far, nice zoning there by ByuN. Getting zones well. Oh, a big overextension. 2 scouts go down for free. A bit of miscontrol there from ReBellioN. He did leave his army idle. And that was actually a big loss. Losing 2 scouts. With that, ByuN is still just rallying across the map. Carriers, they can't quite engage. And again, the problem is carriers are good, they're a capital ship, but you know what's better? A man with gun. So far, 1, 2 tanks go down, he gets all 3 tanks. Gets all 3 tanks, brings a stim on forward. Remember, there's no splash damage. And the boys are being pulled away, the carriers are exposed, barely any interceptors left. And ByuN, he's doing it. He has done it, he has broken on through. Again, you can see just how vulnerable this kind of Sky Toss army is, at least without High Templar, without Storm. Boys are being pulled, and ByuN, he will stim, he will win. He'll break on through. Again, there's just not enough interceptors, not enough carriers, and he will kill 1. Takes out 1 carrier, now going for another. And ReBellioN, he almost got there. He almost got there. He almost got to his ideal. He did get up to 6 carriers, true. Soon to be was getting up to 9 carriers. The army's overstimmed, okay. Army is overstimmed, but that's still 42 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. That is still brutal damage. And ByuN is still not done. He's still killing more interceptors. He's got 45. 45 interceptors. From here, ReBellioN is down to 27 workers. Again, barely an economy, but he is on a high base count. And he can make 4 probes at a time. Saying that, ByuN should not give ReBellioN room to breathe. From here, moving out. Takes down the Nexus. ReBellioN, he's on 8 carriers. He's got 8 carriers with his army. Oh god, these Jesus. Interceptors, he does have the destruction web. Let's go. Does have the web. And that does buy some time. And I believe there are more Corsairs on the way. But Marines, they just hold their own. Yeah, they just hold their own here. They start to step in, they take down one of the carriers, they get 1, they get another carrier, and another 3. Oh my god. 3 carriers go down. And man with gun. That's pretty good. For those that are curious as to what Disruption Web is, it's almost like Blinding Cloud. But GG gets called. ByuN, he will overwhelm, and ByuN will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played, ByuN. He will claim the series. Shout out to ReBellioN. Again, I do appreciate the build that was used in game 2. Again, Maganatha, like, that is kind of where you can get away with that, and he almost did. He almost got away with his Sky Toss. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to contain his opponents. Likewise, he was a little bit late to get into I almost said disruptors, but to get into those Corsairs. Basically, I would say that the ideal supportive unit that early on for the carrier would be either Zealots, like Charge Lots, or I guess Speed Lots, or Storm, or Corsairs. As we saw towards the very end, Corsairs, they do have a spell that's similar to Blinding Cloud called the Disruption Web, and that is something that you can use to try to break those bio armies, to try to preserve your army, to deny any kind of attacks, and to zone the forces away. But we only saw that towards the very end. If we had gotten there maybe a little bit sooner, maybe a little bit earlier, then we could have maybe pulled off a defense. It still would have been difficult there. It still would have been very, very difficult. Regardless, GG. GG well played. Before ReBellioN could really hit his own final form, he was shut down. So solid timing there from ByuN as well. Again, once he realized that it was going to be Sky Toss, he was very active, very aggressive, made sure that ReBellioN wouldn't get comfortable, that ReBellioN wouldn't be able to stabilize and tech up as well. Remember, like, ReBellioN just needed a little bit more time to perfect his army, and ByuN, he knew that he was on a timer. With that, GG well played. ByuN does advance on to the next round, to the semifinals, and up next we do have another matchup here. We have another TvZ to jump into. Let's go.